Is your partner's anger making you uneasy in the relationship? Stay tuned as we uncover the secrets behind anger in relationships and how to address it constructively. Welcome to Cheap Talk, everyone. Today we're diving into a fascinating topic, how someone's anger reveals their true character. It's inspired by a listener who wrote in about a friend struggling with a partner's explosive rage. Apparently, this partner transforms when angry yelling, cursing, even resorting to physical outbursts. The friend's in a tough spot, wondering, is this who they really are?
It's a classic scenario, right? Someone seems perfectly charming until anger takes over, and then bam, a completely different person emerges. It makes you question everything. What are we missing in those calmer moments?
Exactly. The text emphasizes the importance of seeing a partner's anger before committing long-term, even suggesting witnessing a few good fights before marriage.
A few good fights? Well, that sounds a little provocative, doesn't it? I mean, shouldn't the goal be fewer fights, not more? But I get the point. You want to see how someone handles conflict.
Right, because anger, as the text highlights, is a powerful window into someone's true self. It strips away the pretense, the social niceties, and reveals what's bubbling beneath the surface. It's like Mexican performance artist Aleman said, observe a person in their moment of fury, for it is then that their true nature will be completely revealed.
Makes sense. When we're angry, our inhibitions are lowered, our rational mind takes a back seat, and our deeper tendencies come out to play. Like, if someone claims to be all about gender equality but unleashes sexist remarks when rejected, that's a huge red flag, isn't it?
Absolutely. The text mentions Pavlov's theory of higher nervous activity types, which suggests that our nervous systems are wired differently. Some people are quick to react, flexible and balanced, while others are quick but lack flexibility and balance.
Yeah? So, like, some people are just naturally more prone to anger, perhaps?
Precisely. The text mentions the excitable temperament, where someone's nervous system is quick but unbalanced, making them prone to intense emotional responses, both positive and negative.
Ah, so they might be passionate and enthusiastic, but also easily angered and slow to cool down. Controlling their emotions becomes a huge struggle.
Exactly. It goes beyond just temperament, though. The text also talks about emotional regulation and how we assess situations when we're triggered. Some people tend to jump to negative conclusions, seeing everything as a personal attack, while others can reframe their thinking and find a more positive perspective.
That's interesting. So, how we process a situation influences how intensely we react.
Yes. And here's another point. Anger reveals our lower limits. Because our brains have limited cognitive resources, intense emotions like anger consume a lot of those resources, forcing our brains into a kind of shortcut mode. We fall back on ingrained, often simplistic and harsh beliefs.
So, we're not at our most nuanced when we're furious, to put it mildly. We're kind of defaulting to our pre programmed responses.
Exactly. Now, before we go further, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the psychology of anger, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Cheap Talk for more relatable conversations about life's everyday quirks. We're just getting started.
And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break with more on how to decipher someone's anger and what it means for your relationship. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments.
So we're back and ready to unpack more about decoding anger in relationships. Sometimes it feels like navigating a minefield, right? One wrong step and boom.
Ha! Tell me about it. It's tricky because anger isn't always a bad thing. The text we're looking at makes a distinction between, like, justifiable anger and, well, the kind that makes you want to run for the hills.
Right? Like if someone's angry about genuine injustice, like, say, discrimination or harassment, that's totally different from exploding because the toast is burnt. It's situational anger, as the text calls it, versus, habitual anger?
Hmm. Yeah, something like that. And situational anger is often a cry for help, a sign that someone's feeling vulnerable, overwhelmed. They might just need support and understanding, a safe space to vent.
Totally. It's about recognizing the root cause, right? Now, another point the text raises is the proportionality of the anger to the trigger. Like, is the reaction matching the situation?
Oh, that's so important. Like, being annoyed when a friend cancels plans is normal, but launching into a full-blown tirade, complete with personal insults and threats to end the friendship, that's a tad excessive, wouldn't you say?
A tad, yes. That's where things get concerning. It suggests a lack of emotional regulation, which, long term, can be really damaging to a relationship.
Absolutely. And the thing is, constant, excessive anger, it's exhausting for everyone involved. So draining. The text also gives some practical advice on how to handle these situations, right?
Yeah, it talks about leading by example. If you're in the middle of a heated argument, try taking a deep breath, calming yourself down, and disengaging for a bit. Hmm.
Stepping back, creating some space?
Exactly. Give yourselves time to cool off, regroup. The text even suggests saying something like, "Look, I know we're both upset right now. Let's take a break and come back to this when we can talk calmly."
That's a really good strategy. I like it. It sets a boundary, models healthy behavior, and prevents things from escalating. Now, if you're finding these tips helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this episode with anyone who could use some relationship advice.
So, picking up where we left off, remember we were talking about how to handle those heated moments in a relationship?
Yeah, those make or break moments, right? Where you see someone's true colors, so to speak.
Exactly. And the text, well, it emphasizes having a real heart to heart with your partner about anger.
Oh, like specifically addressing the issue head on?
Yeah, exactly. Not in the heat of the moment, obviously, but finding a calm, quiet time to really delve into it. Hmm.
Makes sense. Because when you're both all riled up, it's not exactly conducive to productive conversation, is it?
Right. The text suggests exploring how anger was handled in their family growing up. Like, was it suppressed, expressed openly, explosively?
Interesting. So understanding their background, their anger blueprint almost?
Yeah, because, we often replicate the patterns we learned as kids, even if those patterns aren't healthy. And I think this really struck me. The text suggests actually reliving some of those past experiences together.
Whoa, okay. So not just talking about it in general terms, but actually revisiting specific incidents?
Yeah, and I know that sounds intense, right? But the idea is that by verbalizing those past hurts, those moments of intense anger, it can start a healing process.
Like bringing those buried emotions to the surface, giving them a voice. I can see how that could be powerful, but also potentially tricky.
Definitely. It requires a safe and supportive environment for sure, where both partners feel heard and understood, not judged. Hmm.
Absolutely. It's not about placing blame or rehashing old arguments, but more about understanding the root causes, right? The why behind the anger.
Exactly. And, sometimes that why is connected to unresolved childhood trauma. The text, it really highlights that connection.
Oh, yeah? Like how?
Well, it says that unexpressed, unprocessed trauma can manifest as anger in adult relationships. So it's not just about the burnt toast, right? It could be a deeper underlying pain bubbling to the surface.
Wow, that's deep. So, by revisiting those past experiences, you're not just addressing the anger, you're also potentially healing some old wounds, person two greater than.
Exactly. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, getting to the core of the issue. Now, if you're finding this conversation as insightful as we are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this episode with a friend.
And leave a comment below. We love hearing your thoughts. We'll be back with more next time on Sheep Talk.
So we've talked a lot about recognizing unhealthy anger in a partner, but what if you're the one with the anger issues? What if you're the one who's like prone to these chaotic anger outbursts?
Yeah, that's a really important point. It takes courage to look inward like that, to acknowledge your own struggles with anger. The text actually addresses this directly.
Oh, does it offer any solutions, like ways to manage that anger?
It does. It mentions that our brains, specifically the limbic system, which is like the emotional control center, isn't fully developed until around age 30. So if you're younger, you might still be learning to regulate your emotions.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's almost like a biological factor, like still under construction?
Yeah, exactly. It's a work in progress for many of us. The article really does highlight the concept of self care as an important anger management tool.
Oh, self-care? Like bubble baths and face masks? Hmm.
Well, sure, those can be helpful, but it's broader than that. It's about finding activities that genuinely relax and recharge you. You know, stuff like going for a walk, playing video games, journaling, even. Right. It's about building up your emotional resources so when you do feel that anger rising, you have tools to cope with it, to calm yourself down. The text also talked about mindfulness and meditation as strategies, right?
Oh, right, right. Like building a reserve of calm almost, so you can draw on it when things get heated.
Exactly. And remember that cognitive reframing technique we discussed earlier, trying to see situations from a more positive perspective? That can be really helpful too. Like, okay, I'm late for work because the train slowed down, but hey, at least there wasn't an accident.
Right, right. Finding that silver lining, however small, it's like choosing to focus on the good rather than getting swept away by the negative. And there was this other point that stood out to me. Let me see. It said that someone who truly loves you would never hurt you, even if they do struggle with anger. Hmm.
Yes, I loved that part. It's so important to remember that. Anger is not an excuse for abusive behavior. Never.
Yeah, it's not a free pass to lash out and hurt the people you care about. And you know what? If you're constantly walking on eggshells around your partner, worried about triggering their anger, that's a huge red flag. You deserve to feel safe and respected in your relationship, period.
Absolutely. And, if you're thinking about a long-term commitment with someone, pay attention to how they handle anger. It's crucial. It's not about avoiding conflict altogether, but about how they navigate those disagreements, how they treat you when they're upset. Now, if you've found this conversation helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to Cheap Talk for more relatable conversations about life little challenges.
And be sure to check out the references in the show notes for more information on this topic.
So, we were talking about anger and relationships, and this research by L and Kutov back in 2010, it really highlights the link between anger and like risky health behaviors. Pretty fascinating, right?
Hmm.
Yeah? Like what kind of risky behaviors are we talking about here?
Well, they didn't get into specifics in this snippet, but, it makes you wonder, right? Like, does anger contribute to things like substance abuse, reckless driving, stuff like that? It makes me think about the impact of anger on decision making, right?
Definitely. When you're furious, you're not exactly thinking clearly. You're more likely to do something you'll probably regret later on, right? Impulsive behavior goes up, rational thought goes down.
Exactly. And, oh, this other study by Liu, LeMay, and Meal from 2018, this one's all about mutual cyclical anger in romantic relationships.
Mutual cyclical anger? Say that 5 times fast. So, like when couples get stuck in these anger loops, where one person's anger fuels the others and it just escalates?
Precisely. And they found that personality traits like agreeableness and the level of commitment in the relationship, those things can actually influence how these anger cycles play out, right? Like if you're highly agreeable, you're probably more inclined to like smooth things over, de-escalate the situation, right? Yeah, absolutely. It's like you're more willing to compromise, to see the other person's perspective. You're less likely to get caught in the crossfire.
Right. Whereas someone low in agreeableness might be more defensive, more likely to dig in their heels and fuel the fire.
Exactly. And commitment plays a role too, right? If you're deeply committed to the relationship, you're more likely to put in the effort to work through those conflicts constructively. You're more invested in finding a resolution, even if you're both angry and upset. Hmm.
Makes total sense because you see the bigger picture, right? You're not just focused on winning the argument, but on preserving the relationship. You're less likely to just walk away when things get tough. Now, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the psychology of anger, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Cheat Talk for more insightful conversations just like this one.
Right. And this little blurb at the end, it mentions keywords. Anger, emotions, intimate relationships, personality. It's like they're really hitting all the key themes here, right?
Oh, yeah. And it looks like they're encouraging listeners or readers to search for more information on their KY account and even leave comments if they have specific questions.
Yeah, that's a great way to keep the conversation going, Engage with the audience, get their feedback. Now, if you're the type of person who actually leaves this feedback, well, you are our favorite kind of person. Never change. Hmm.
Totally. And oh, it looks like they offer other services too, like psychological tests and maybe even an app. Plus, they have a Facebook page, lots of ways to connect. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button, as they say, to show your appreciation for their content. We love those catchy little phrases.